is the MacBook Air. .76 inches down to an unprecedented 0.16 inches. Now, I want to point something out here. The thickest part of the MacBook Air is still thinner than the thinnest part of the TZ series. Okay? We're talking thin here. So, it's so thin, it even fits inside one of these envelopes that we've all seen floating around the office. And so let me go ahead and show it to you now. This is it. Let me take it out here. This is the new MacBook Air, and you can get a feel for how thin it is. Yeah, there it is. Look at this. All right. Amazing product here. Full-size keyboard, full-size display. And this is what it looks like. Isn't that amazing? So,
think different. That phrase isn't just a catchy slogan, it's a revolution. Welcome to the Global Brand Series, where I dig into the stories behind the world's most iconic companies. Today's subject, Apple. You know, the iPhone, the MacBook, and of course Steve Jobs. But trust me, Apple's true story is even crazier than you've heard. Let's start with the garage myth. Everyone loves to picture Apple being born in some tiny garage, right? Here's the truth. Steve Wozniak built the first Apple computer in his apartment, not in Jobs' garage. The garage was more of a symbol, a piece of marketing magic Steve Jobs used to sell the idea of a scrappy startup. So, was it real? Kind of. But it's the myth that stuck. Now here's a name most people forget, Ron Wayne. Yeah, Apple had a third founder. He designed the first logo, wrote the first partnership agreement, and owned 10% of Apple. But just 12 days in, he sold his shares for $800. If he'd just held on, that chunk would be worth over $200 billion today. Sometimes history isn't just about the winners, it's about the ones who walked away. Flash forward to the 90s. Apple was on the ropes, burning through cash, and just 90 days from bankruptcy. Then out of nowhere, Microsoft swoops in. Bill Gates invested $150 million in Apple. Not out of charity, he wanted to keep Apple around for competition. So yeah, at one point Microsoft literally saved Apple. Ever wonder about the I in iPhone and iMac? Steve Jobs said it stood for Internet, Individual, Inspire, and more. Honestly, the real genius of the I is that it meant almost nothing. It was mysterious, it made you curious, and that's what made it stick. But Apple's real superpower isn't just cool design, it's the ecosystem. Every Apple device is built to work perfectly with every other Apple device. Once you're in, it's hard to get out. That's called ecosystem lock-in, and it's why Apple fans are famously loyal. Now here's the wildest twist. Apple makes more money from services like iCloud and the App Store than from selling iPads. They're shifting into software, media, even banking. Apple Pay, Apple Card, a savings account. Next thing you know, Apple could be your bank. So what's next? Apple glasses, maybe even an Apple Car, but the big one? Healthcare. Imagine your Apple Watch detecting diseases before you even feel symptoms. Apple didn't just build gadgets, they built a culture. And that's just the beginning. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe for more deep dives into the brands shaping our world.